Well, I had a nice Torah debrief written out. And last night as I was lying awake in bed, the Lord said, don't even bring those pages with you. So I said, okay, God. How many times do we read the Torah without going as deep as the Lord would like us? So last night he said to me, think about this. Moses had been 40 days and 40 nights with me on the mountain, neither eating or drinking. What do you think that experience was like? In the very presence of God, 40 days and 40 nights. I was amazed when you read what you read, because last night the Lord said to me, I know every star by name. I put every star in its place. I know every one of my creatures. I know every hair of every head on every person I've ever created. So this is the God in whose presence Moses was. Do you think after being in that presence and feeling that love that he could ever doubt that God loved him and had a purpose for him and for his people? The holiness of God, it says he dwells in unapproachable light. I mean, think about that. His holiness is so far beyond anything we humans can even comprehend. And Moses was in the presence of that holiness. Do you think Moses came to see how God hates sin? Everything that tarnishes holiness? It made me understand why when Moses came down, God says, rush down, the people that you brought out of Egypt have done a detestable thing. And Moses had God's heart against disobedience, against sin, against rebellion, against doubting him. And Moses threw the Torah tablets down because he had God's heart. He saw what God, on the mountain, he saw what God purposed for his people, which is a life of blessing. And we read that in here. If you will just trust me and obey me, the blessings in your life will be beyond anything you can imagine. So Moses came away from that as disturbed as God was. And again, he lay prostrate before the Lord 40 days and 40 nights without eating or drinking. And that time he was interceding. He was praying God. If you look up Exodus 32:32, it says, God, spare these people, do not destroy them. And if you won't, take my life. So Moses was saying, I understand what you want for them, and I'm willing to lay down my life for them. So Moses was truly a picture of Yeshua, because that's what Yeshua did. He literally, Moses couldn't do it because he wasn't spotless, sinless man. But Yeshua did it. He said, Father, I see what you purpose for your people, which is restoration to the holiness and the intimacy that we had in the garden. And I am willing to lay down my life for that to be restored. Thank you, Father. What Yeshua also did was give us that ministry of reconciliation. He calls us to intercede, to lay our lives down for the people who are not yet connected to him. We need to be prostrate before the Lord, getting his heart, so that we grieve when we see darkness overtaking those we love, or see people that we know don't know him. And when we have his heart, we will have his love, and we'll be able to minister to them in love, hating the sin, but loving those who are caught up in it. So we thank you, Father, for this powerful picture in your word, this great invitation to us to share your heart, to live face to face with you, as that song sang. Nothing between us and you. Give us your heart, Father, for your glory. In Yeshua's name, amen.